I've been meaning to talk about this for a while now, but balanced parry type seriously needs help. Patch 9.0 brought massive changes to the melee weapon archetypes, but these are all just numerical changes, and truth to be told, it wasn't really enough to offset the game meta. While balanced on paper seems like the obvious choice to take stats wise, it is still the de facto weakest defense type to take because of one reason: the startup time. For those who watched the frame data video, you are no doubt familiar with this concept. Concise explanation of what a startup is in the context of Space Marine 2 is that it is the time before a perfect parry can actually happen. Because of this startup time, balanced weapons are the hardest weapon to use defensively when you're facing a large amount of enemies. Now you can definitely make the case that it's just skill issues, which in most parts I will agree, but considering how big the actual parry window is on the balanced weapons, I'd hardly call it skill expression to land a parry when you press the button before the tail of an attack even came out. As of how the game is right now, I hesitate to call balanced weapons balanced. They feel more like GIMP fencing weapons with slightly different stats. After using the heroic chainsword more, I realized that perhaps what the balanced weapons really need is, well, some parts of both worlds. While on paper balanced weapons have great cleave values and speed for dealing with Minotaur's horde, the reality is that since smaller enemies have ways to become immune to light staggers, such as from light attacks, it isn't always the best idea to try to fight them with your melee attacks. You can do this with block weapons because of the thankfully fixed block explosion, as well as the armor gained when attacking with 2 stacks of Adrenaline Surge. With fencing weapons, even easier. You just press parry anytime you see anything breathe, and you'll be able to stagger enemies and get armor back every time you land a parry. With balanced weapons though, if even one Minotaur's enemy hits you during the startup, you are frame trapped into a block animation. If you try to match parry, the likelihood of being put into the cycle again is also just too great. The bigger stagger radius helps a lot to be fair, but you still risk taking a lot of chip damage from one messed up parry. The proposed suggestion seeks to make balanced weapons a true balanced archetype. This was already done in similar capacity in the Astartes mod, and I think it can work well in the main game as well. Instead of having 30 frames of perfect parry, balanced weapons should be altered to have 15 frames of perfect block and 15 frames of perfect parry. Instead of 2 blocks of Adrenaline Surge, balanced weapons should only get 1 maximum stack along with similar benefits such as the 30% more melee damage for 2.2 seconds and 60% range damage reduction for 1.8 seconds. It should however not have access to the explosive stagger, armor recovery, or increased stagger force like block weapons. Balanced weapons should also have the option to have perfect parry, which is a powerful tool that is balanced by the fact that the timing of it will be stricter with a long startup time. While this will in effect reduce the efficacy of the parry portion of the balanced weapons, as we've shortened the perfect parry window by 15 frames, I think instant defense when the input is received will more than make up for this reduced parry time. Besides, Duelist will still exist for those who desperately need all the parry frames they can get. In short, this change should allow balanced weapon to have access to some parts of what make the other 2 defense type powerful, while also introducing a different form of skill expression, namely instant perfect block with some associated benefits while having the option for gun strikes as well. At the same time, it will not be able to have powerful burst damage like block weapons, or extremely lenient parry window like the fencing weapons. In other words, such a change will allow the weapon type to give more control to the players over what they want to accomplish, without feeling like they have to give up their defense for a mediocre offense. With how lenient fencing is and how much burst damage block weapons offer, balanced weapons need to have some form of instant defense with some rewards associated with deliberated and well-timed efforts. The other options offer such capacity, and balanced weapons need it too. Hopefully the developers can take this into consideration.